guys, how's it going? So a few things today. First off, the Hartley Botanic crew is here installing the greenhouse. It has been an amazing process. They just started yesterday and they had almost I think they had the entire frame up plus some of the glass panels. I was just like, I figured it was gonna take 2 or 3 days to get everything laid out. Nope, they had the framing, like the first big frame section of the roof up like by mid-morning yesterday, and they arrived yesterday morning at 8. So it's been a really amazing process to watch. So they're putting up glass panels right now, and I thought I would head out for just a little bit while they're working on that. And I'm gonna go to my grandparents' house and help my grandpa thin his pluot trees, which are a plum apricot cross. They're wonderful fruit, and we usually get some every year. They bring us a box, and they really like those trees, but it's getting to a point where, you know, it requires a ladder. You can hear the lawn tractor. That's the other thing going on today. Hold on. Aaron is beginning the grass seeding process up here. So I just kind of wanted to like note the date that this is happening. We have an overcast day today, and it actually started to drizzle. Not even drizzle, it sprinkled like a second. But you know what, I'll take it. It's been so hot and dry, and you know, we're getting a lot of the smoke from the fires, not in our immediate area, but from surrounding areas. It kind of settles in our valley, and it happens every summer. But to be honest, like glass half full is that it does create a little bit of reprieve for our plants because it blocks the intense sun. Still gets pretty hot, stays a little bit muggier, but the plants do have a chance to kind of recover a little bit, and it makes it an okay time to get some seed down because it's easier to keep it moist and so forth. So anyways, I'm gonna head out to my grandparents' house right now. I think we've got 2 pluot trees to thin today. So anyway, I don't know how long it's gonna take or any of that, but it's a beautiful day. And here we are at my grandparents in their vegetable garden / orchard. This is one of the spaces where they have fruit trees. They do have fruit trees on the other side of that fence there. There's a pond. We should just take a quick look at it. Do you guys remember when we were here? Was it last spring? We came and did a clean out. Isn't that pretty? Such a nice sound. There used to be a swimming pool here when we were little kids, and we spent a lot of time here in the summer. Anyway, this is where we're gonna be doing the bulk of our work today. And this flower bed really didn't have much in it. In fact, when we came and did the clean out, there was a big old stump in here that we removed. And so since then, my grandparents have put in this beautiful arbor, some flagstones to kind of get over into the orchard vegetable garden, and then they've planted some really pretty annuals and then a bunch of tomato plants, which are huge. So I'm gonna harvest the cherry tomatoes that are on this plant here. There's a few down at the bottom. I think this is a sun sugar. But then I'm also gonna clean up a bunch of this undergrowth here so that they're a little bit easier to get to, and so the plant doesn't have as much foliar growth to support, and it can focus a little bit more on fruit development. Look at these. They love their lives right here. Huge. And then if we go through the arbor, there are more tomato plants right here, peach trees, and then there are some vine crops right in here. And we are going to be thinning out the pluots. 2 trees right here. You can see how big the fruit are. See this right here? That's way too many on one branch. So not only can it create too much weight and crack the branches especially once they start getting a little bit bigger, but the fruit just won't develop quite as big. The plant just has way too much to support. So we're gonna really thin this out. Look at this. Thinning fruit trees especially is always such a hard thing for me to do because I feel like, oh, I'm just getting rid of so much fruit. But the fruit you get from a thinned fruit tree is always so much bigger and better because the tree can focus so much more energy on ripening those fewer fruit rather than spreading its energy so thin. So my grandpa always says this is his method. He goes out and he thins once, then he goes out and he thins a second time, and then you go out a third time and you treat that tree like it's a neighbor maybe you don't like so much, and you thin it again. So that's his method of thinning. Look at this. Oh good, the information tag is still here, so I can show you what kind of tree this is. Looks like this one could benefit from a little chelated iron as well. Maybe I'll tell Aaron, we'll come back with some iron. Flavor King Pluot. There are also some vine crops around here on the ground. And one interesting thing, I actually really like this staking system here with all the strings. This is buckwheat. So apparently whatever bug buckwheat attracts, they also eat squash bugs. So he planted this in an effort to keep all of the vine crops clean. So I think that's a really interesting tidbit. I didn't know that. And over here, I noticed the cutest watermelon. Oh, look at that. Isn't that a beaut? And what a gorgeous day to be out here. Boy, just having the overcast and a little bit cooler just puts me in such a better mood. Also, I like working in other people's gardens. It gets me out of my own space, out of my own head, and it just feels good. So I'm gonna set up a camera. I'm gonna whip through these plants in here, kind of spruce it up a little bit, and then we'll head back home and see how Aaron's doing. That looks so much better. So what I do when I thin, there's no real rhyme or reason. I just make sure that there's space around each fruit and that there's not too many of them on a branch. So that looks so much better than it did in the beginning. If you see two right next to each other, I just pop one of them off and leave one. That way that one has plenty of room to size up. And then in a case like this, where we've got a kind of a longer cluster, there's two really close together, so I'm gonna pop one off. And then I'm going to pop this one off. You gotta be kind of tender because these are a little fragile. I get that one right there, and see, now we're left with three nice ones. Lots of space around each one of them. It looks so much better. It's pretty easy, it just takes a little bit of time. Oh, it's so hard. All right, I just finished up. Everything's looking nice. It's been just such a gift of a day. The weather has just been beautiful. You can see I pruned the base, like all those wild branches that were coming out from the bottom. I didn't do a tremendous amount on top. I'll let my grandpa do that. He enjoys that. I just got down and did the scrubby stuff toward the bottom, and some of these have some big tomatoes on them. Look at this. So good. And then there's the three right here, so you can kind of see around them now, which is nice. And then there were some big branches kind of growing up around that hose bib, so it's just kind of cleaned up a little bit. When you pop over here into the orchard, these tomatoes didn't need a tremendous amount of trimming, just that one there. The other ones I was able to feed the branches back up through the cages, and then we've got all the weeds pulled back in here, which was actually really pleasant. It's real nice and cool and shady back here. And the weeds were really just growing along the drip line. And it looks like it just recently watered, so they were fairly easy to pull. And then I got the weeds from this area and around in the gravel, and we got the pluots, which this one's a dapple dandy. That one's a flavor king. But we got them all thinned out, and they do look quite a bit better. We may come in and thin them one more time. We'll just let them size up a little bit, see how they do, especially on this tree. I was reluctant to take any more than I did because I was just throwing buckets of fruit away. So anyway, we'll just see how it goes. Like right here, I feel like that one's a little too close, and that'll be perfect right there. This tree produces a tremendous amount of fruit. Okay, so now let's head back to the house and see how Aaron's doing. All right, back at home, it looks like Aaron's wrapping up. Are you done, Aaron?
Yeah.
You seeded the whole thing?
Yeah. 400 pounds.
Are you serious?
Well, so I think it's 200 is like the recommended amount, but
double it.
Yeah.
We got lots of airplane activity today. You guys see that?
So here in like 33 minutes, I made a program called seeding.
Oh.
And it's gonna water quite a bit in here for now just to keep it moist. So, because your dad was saying you can't let it dry
just a
out.
little bit of water more often.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't want it to soak or get like flood or anything like that.
Just water the top layer.
So I think some of the zones will go for like 7 to 10 minutes at a time just to keep it moist.
Nice. So you guys were about ready to see a sea of green instead of a sea of, I don't even know what to call it.
Once the grass is up, I want to plant a bunch more trees.
Big bunch of shade trees in this area. We are going to keep the middle section kind of open for the kids to run and play. Look, there's another airplane. my word. They're all little ones. I have been looking forward to this day for a lot of days. What is it, July 20th today. And so the benefit of seeding like right in the middle of the heat, you might think we're crazy, but the benefit is that it will come up super, super fast. So we won't have to be so on, I mean, we'll have to be on it with the moisture level for just like a shorter amount of time. And because it's all on a system and Aaron can control it, it's a lot easier. You know, we don't have to be out here pulling sprinklers around or anything like that. So anyway, we hope to get a nice stand of grass up before fall and hopefully tackle some of the weed issues before winter so that next spring we don't have quite as many issues like we did with that side strip. And that's kind of the reason why we didn't do a full-on here's how we're seeding the grass video, because we did exactly the same thing on that strip of grass and we filmed it last October. So I think we'll try to remember to link that video down below so you can see kind of our process.
The one difference I will say, we didn't use any of the Espoma lawn starter fertilizer.
Oh.
I want to say that Espoma didn't have time to make any this year or something like that. Like there's a shortage of it. And I just didn't go check at Andrews to see if there's any other brands that have it. I just didn't put any.
You want to know something though?
What's that?
This area right about in here is pretty laden with land and sea and biotone from the flower garden last year.
That's true.
We'll have like one rectangular patch that's amazing right here. And that is it for today's video. What a fun day and what beautiful weather. Oh, I just love it. This is why I like spring and fall so much. We have a lot more days that are like this. They're just pleasant to be outside. So happy to have grass seed down. I bet you anything if our neighbors could see what we were doing, they'd be throwing up their hands in praise, because every time we have a windstorm, I mean, you can imagine how much dust we're providing in this area. Providing like it's a service. So yeah, having some grass in here, and then we will follow up with some shade trees. It's gonna be so nice. And then it was also nice to go to my grandparents' house today. They have been in that house since before I was born, actually since my dad was a kid. So lots of memories around that place, and it's always fun to be there. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, I haven't washed my hands since I pruned the tomatoes. Oh, there we go.